Most comic book companies have a character or team that represent them. It could be Captain America or the Fantastic Four for Marvel Comics, Hellboy or the Umbrella Academy for Dark Horse Comics, Static Shock for Milestone Comics, Spawn for Image Comics, and for a time, Dragon Ball for Shonen Jump. But when people think of the face of DC, the first character they picture is Superman, aka the Man of Steel, aka the last son of Krypton, aka the Big Blue Boy Scout, aka the Man of Tomorrow. For 98 years, Superman has been the symbol of truth and justice. In this video, I will discuss the unofficial history of Superman from his development to the stories that further define the character. Before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy content like this so you won't miss a video. The beginning of Superman's development started with the birth of two comic book creators, Jerry Siegel, born on October 17, 1914, and Joe Shuster, born on July 10, 1914. Siegel was the son of Lithuanian Jewish immigrants and was raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Shuster was the son of a Jewish family as well and lived in Toronto, Ontario, Canada before his family moved to Cleveland. As teenagers, Shuster and Siegel befriended each other while attending Glenville High School, sharing their love of science fiction, adventure comics, and movies. In 1933, the two created a short story called The Reign of the Superman, which starred a telepathic bald villain bent on world domination. Siegel once stated, quote, "When Joe and I first met, it was like the right chemicals coming together." In the summer of 1935, Siegel and Shuster began selling comics to National Allied Publications, which was the precursor to DC Comics. One of their first characters they made for the company was the magical and mystical Dr. Occult, who first appeared in New Fun issue 6 in October of that same year. Then Siegel and Shuster were creating a character who would become so successful that he would begin a golden age of comics. Many of the influence they took were Hugo Danner from the 1930 novel Gladiator, Don Diego de la Vega from The Mask of Zorro, Sir Percy Blakeney from The Scarlet Pimpernel, and even everyone's favorite spinach-eating sailorman, Popeye. The city that the character lived in would be named after the 1927 German expressionist science fiction film Metropolis. On April 18, 1938, the world began to witness the rise of the Big Blue Boy Scout when Action Comics issue 1 was published, marking the beginning of Superman. Notably, the comic also saw the debut of the backwards-speaking magician Giovanni Zatara. The Man of Tomorrow had a simple origin story that would be retold multiple times. Kal-El was born to Jor-El and Laura-El on the planet Krypton, which was millions of years more advanced than Earth. As a baby, Kal-El was sent to Earth, avoiding Krypton's destruction. Crash landing in a farm community called Smallville, he was adopted by the Kents and was given the name Clark Kent. As he got older, he developed powers like speed, strength, invincibility, and X-ray vision. After Martha Kent passed away, Pa Kent became ill and told Clark to use his powers for good. He promised to do so and took on the name Superman, donning a blue and red outfit. Moving to Metropolis, Clark became a journalist for the Daily Star and befriended characters like Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. Further comics changed and further explained Superman's powers. His abilities came from the rays of the yellow sun. Krypton had a red sun called Rao, which would drain Kryptonians of their true powers. In his first appearance, Superman was able to leap great distances, but he was able to fly in the Max Fletcher cartoon. His weakness, green kryptonite, was irradiated pieces of his former planet and first appeared in the Superman radio show. Other colored kryptonite would appear over the years. Superman was mainly a response to the hardships that impacted America during the Great Depression. One of Superman's great adversaries is Lex Luthor. Luthor first appeared in Action Comics issue 23 in 1940. In his first appearance, he provoked two European countries, Gallonia and Tehran, into waging war against each other. Thankfully, Superman defeated his adversary. In 1941, Superman issue 17 featured the secret citadel, located at the top of a mountain outside of Metropolis. This would be the predecessor of the Fortress of Solitude, which would be located in the Arctic. Future Comics stated that it is located in either the Antarctic, the Andes, or even the Amazon rainforest at one point. In the comics, the fortress was opened by a big giant key. In that same year, World's Best Comics issue 1 saw the pairing of Superman and the Caped Crusader, Batman. In 1945, More Fun Comics issue 101 featured the Silver Age iteration of Superman. The origin story of Kal-El, now spelled differently, was similar to his Golden Age counterpart. The Silver Age iteration was from an alternate universe called Earth 1, and the Golden Age iteration was from Earth 2. The multiverse concept was further explored in The Flash issue 123 in 1961. Notably, the Daily Star was renamed to the Daily Planet. In 1949, the Superboy comics were published, depicting Clark's earliest adventures as a young crime fighter. The series also featured appearances by Lana Lang, the Kryptonian canine Krypto, and even the Legion of Superheroes. Luthor's backstory was further explored, explaining his rivalry with Superman. The series also featured Bizarro, the bizarre and Frankenstein's monster-looking copy clone of Superman. Over the years, Superman would become a member of the Justice League of America and encounter his cousin Lara Zor-El, who would go by Supergirl. Some of his adventures include meeting John F. Kennedy and even boxing Muhammad Ali. Returning to Earth 2, All-Star Comics issue 58 was published in 1976 and featured a character named Power Girl, the Earth 2 counterpart to Supergirl. Biologically, they are the same person, although one is older and more mature. I don't think I need to say the obvious. In any case, 1978 saw the release of Superman, directed by Richard Donner. The movie starred Christopher Reeves as the Man of Tomorrow and was composed by John Williams, giving us the iconic Superman theme song. When asked about the philosophy of Superman, Christopher simply said, "A friend," and that's what people really need most. 1985's Crisis on Infinite Earths celebrated the 50th anniversary of DC Comics and reset the continuity, erasing Clark's adventures as Superboy. The story also saw the death of Supergirl. Eventually, Julius Schwartz decided to quote-unquote make-believe his last two issues of Superman and Action Comics. Initially, Schwartz wanted Schuster on the project, but then turned towards comic book creator Alan Moore to be the writer. Moore researched Superman's history and mapped out the stories and characters. In 1936, months after the conclusion of Crisis on Infinite Earths, DC Comics published Superman Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. This served as a non-canon ending to the Silver Age iteration of Superman. In this story, Lois Lane is interviewed, retelling the events of Superman's final adventure. Bizarro commits suicide using blue kryptonite, Lana Lang gets superpowers but then dies, and finally Superman enters a chamber filled with gold kryptonite, which strips the Man of Steel of his powers, disappearing into the Arctic. The story was cited as one of the most memorable imaginary stories in DC Comics. John Byrne's The Man of Steel would reimagine Superman's origin story in the post-crisis continuity. This was also where Lex Luthor was depicted as a power-hungry businessman, or, quote, the most powerful man in Metropolis. Superman's adopted parents are both alive in this new continuity. In 1992, Joe Shuster passed away, and Jerry Siegel would as well 4 years later. Their legacy still continues to influence the comic book landscape to this day. The Death of Superman featured the character Doomsday, a powerful monster artificially created in the distant past on Krypton. The storyline ended with Superman sacrificing himself while defeating Doomsday. The comic book was so big that news outlets were covering the death of an iconic character. Reign of the Supermen saw the appearance and rise of 4 new characters: Superboy, Cyborg Superman, Steel, and Eradicator. Superboy was the clone of Superman and Lex Luthor, created by Project Cadmus. Cyborg Superman, whose real name is Hank Henshaw, was an astronaut who was exposed to cosmic radiation, having the ability to transfer his mind with technology. He would merge with Superman's birthing matrix and come back with a new robotic body that resembled Superman. Steel, whose real name is John Henry Irons, wore an armored suit and held a kinetic hammer. Eradicator was once an ancient Kryptonian weapon that merged with a human body to form the Man of Steel. The real Superman eventually returns, and it was revealed that he was recovering in a Kryptonian regeneration matrix deep into the Fortress of Solitude. While he was depowered, he eventually got most of his powers back. Upon learning that Coast City was destroyed by the alien villain Mongol and Cyborg Superman, he joined with the other Supermen to take his cyborg enemy down. In 2001, Action Comics issue 775 featured the story called What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. In this story, Superman fights the Elite, a team of violent anti-heroes known for their unlawful killing of criminals. In this confrontation with team leader Manchester Black, Superman says, quote, "Dreams save us, dreams lift us up and transform us. And on my soul, I swear, until my dream of a world where dignity, honor, and justice become the reality we all share, I will never stop fighting, ever." The story presents Superman's true morals involving heroism and morality in a world where violence and chaos exist. In that same year, the show Smallville premiered and served as a coming-of-age story for Clark Kent, starring actors like Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, and running for 10 seasons. Comic book writer Grant Morrison pitched a Superman story hoping to advance the larger myth of the long-running character, and taking elements from the works of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster to the era of the Silver Age of comics to the John Byrne reboot to the then present-day Superman comics. In 2005, Morrison, alongside artist Frank Quitely, created the comic book known as All-Star Superman, which would be labeled as one of the greatest comic book stories ever told. In this Elseworld story, Superman learned that he is slowly dying and his cells are poisoned by radiation. As Superman performs his 12 labors, the comic displays his personal life and deconstructs the relationships he has developed with the heroes and even villains. Legacy plays a huge part in All-Star Superman. As Clark leaves Earth to fulfill work at the center of the sun, by the end of the comic, the meaning of Superman becomes eternal. The story is also about Superman grappling with his morality, an idea inspired by the death of Morrison's father, who sadly died of cancer in 2004. The story suggests that each of us change the world, and there will be Superman as long as there is good in the world. The overall message of the story. The New 52 started after the Flashpoint event in 2011, bringing in a new continuity. Morrison, with an interest in an early years Superman story, took Superman back to his roots during his run on Action Comics, remixing different aspects of the Man of Steel and fleshing him into the familiar hero we all know. In 2013, Man of Steel premiered. The movie starred Henry Cavill as Superman and was directed by Zack Snyder, kicking off the DC Extended Universe, which would end in 2023. The DCEU took influence from the New 52 in an effort not to feel or look similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The DCEU was darker and more serious than the MCU. In 2015's Convergence, it was revealed that the pre-New 52 characters were plucked by the Superman villain Brainiac. The pre-New 52 Superman and Lois Lane had a son, John Kent, and were brought into the post-Flashpoint continuity, living quietly. Eventually, reality was rewritten again, merging the histories of the post-Crisis and post-Flashpoint iterations of Superman. In 2023, James Gunn announced an 8 to 10 year plan for a new DC cinematic universe. One of the projects, of course, was Superman Legacy, later renamed to Superman. The filming location of Metropolis would be in Cleveland, Ohio. The movie, released in 2025 during DC's 90th anniversary, stars David Cornsweet as the Man of Steel, and James Gunn, who was the director of the movie, humanizes the Big Blue Boy Scouts, taking influence from All-Star Superman. From that point onward, a new era for Superman had begun. Ultimately, Superman has influenced the comic book landscape thanks to two sci-fi loving nerds. Without Siegel and Schuster, the superhero genre would not feel the same as it does today. With the help of future writers and artists, Superman has been viewed as more human, even as an alien from a distant planet. Over the decades, Superman has showed the true purpose, truth, justice, and the American way, by presenting hope and courage, continuing his fight against inequality and injustice. He was a gift from the sky, inspiring readers never to give up. Anyways, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe so I can make more content like this. Not that I'm pressuring you, but that's beside the point. The real point is, I had a lot of fun making this video, and I do want to do more videos like this. So again, if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. Hope you all have an amazing day. You guys are amazing. Goodbye.